Properly mating an O-ring into its corresponding groove can be a challenge if you're not familiar with the concept of using reference geometry to create mates. This simple O-ring was created by first sketching a circle and then revolving it around a center line. Notice in the sketch that the circle was created such that the top plane runs directly through the center of the O-ring. This is intentional and can be used for positioning later on. The challenge now is to fit the O-ring into the groove. I'll drag the O-ring into the assembly with the cylinder and launch the mate command. The first thought would be to click on the ring and the cylinder and expect to create a concentric mate. Unfortunately, when I select the two faces, the concentric mate is not an option. The tangent mate is the only available option and will not produce the desired result. The trick to aligning the two parts is to make use of the temporary axis of both parts. From the View drop-down menu, select Temporary Axis. This will display an axis that runs along the center of the cylinder and also displays an axis along the center of the ring. The two temporary axes can now be selected to create a coincident relationship, effectively centering the ring on the cylinder. To align the ring along the length of the cylinder, I can use a tangent mate. If the ring ends up on the wrong side, you can use flip mate alignment. Creating a section view of the assembly, you can see the groove is perfectly sized for the O-ring. Because of this, the single tangent mate is all that's necessary to position the O-ring. There's a second groove on the cylinder that's not perfectly sized for the ring. In addition, it has angled sides, making a tangent mate impossible. So how can a ring be centered on this groove? Well, first, let me create a copy of the O-ring by control-dragging the existing ring. I'll add the coincident mate between the temporary axes as before. This time, selecting the ring and sidewall will not allow for a tangent mate. Even if a tangent mate was possible, it wouldn't center the ring within the groove. To position the ring, I'll make use of both reference geometry and sketch geometry. In the Feature Manager tree, I'll find the sketch used to create the groove, and I'll make it visible. Now, I can add a mate between the center line in the sketch and the top plane of the O-ring. In both cases here, the diameter of the O-ring was defined in such a way that it fit perfectly around the cylinder. If you want to be sure that you end up with the proper diameter, you can create the O-ring in the context of the assembly using top-down design techniques.